He's lying, Mom. He's always hated me. Those words slid off her tongue with a smirk sharp enough to cut. My stepdaughter's eyes gleamed with false innocence, her trembling voice convincing enough to sound real. And Alina, my wife, the woman I trusted the most, stood there staring at me as if I was already guilty. Hi, my name is Max, and I learned the hard way that betrayal doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it wears your wedding ring and calls itself family. You'd think years of building a home, a rhythm, a shared future would count for something. But in one evening, it all shattered, because a spoiled 20-year-old decided to poison her mother's heart. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button for more stories like this. I remember that night in sharp, frozen fragments. The living room lights too bright, the silence too heavy, Alina's gaze too cold. Max, pack your things. I can't do this anymore. Her voice didn't shake. Mine did. Are you serious? You're ending this because she said something? She didn't reply. She just looked at her daughter, with that same blind love she once had for me. In that moment, I realized I wasn't her priority anymore. I wasn't even her choice. The walls seemed to echo with laughter that wasn't mine and loyalty that wasn't hers. The cruelest part? She never asked what really happened. No questions, no defense, no second chance, just silence and exile. I packed quietly. Every folded shirt felt like a farewell. Every pair of shoes dropped into the suitcase felt like a small betrayal. When the door shut behind me, the night air hit like ice. I stood there with my suitcase, my marriage in pieces, and her daughter's victorious smirk shining in the window's reflection. But here's the truth. The world eventually balances its debts, and theirs was heavy. When Alina showed up, asking if I had reflected, asking if I was ready to apologize and come home, I didn't just walk away. I made sure they both understood the weight of their choice. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning, the recovery. The first week, I stayed in a friend's spare room, staring at the ceiling, replaying every moment, wondering how years of trust could collapse in a single accusation. The silence pressed on my chest. Every time my phone lit up, a part of me hoped it was Alina admitting the truth. It never was. Instead, I saw her daughter's posts, petty jabs, smug captions, bait meant to provoke. Some men never learn their place, she wrote. They wanted me broken, and for a while, I was. But pain is a strange teacher. By the end of that week, I realized it wasn't her lie that destroyed me. It was Alina's choice to believe it, her silence, her betrayal. By week 2, something in me shifted. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't hurt. The version of me that begged to be believed was gone. So, I started planning. I opened the old box I'd kept for years. Financial records, property deeds, proof of everything I'd built. She thought I'd walk away with nothing, that she could erase me with a slammed door. She underestimated me. By week 3, I was waking early, cooking my own meals, and writing plans every morning. I grew clearer, stronger, and focused. So when she finally appeared at my friend's doorway, guilt written across her face, I didn't flinch. Max, she said softly, we both need to reflect. Maybe it's time you apologize and come home. The audacity. She wanted me to crawl back, as if I were the problem. I smiled, calm and deliberate. I did reflect, I said, handing her a sealed envelope. Her fingers trembled as she opened it. Divorce papers. For the first time, she was the one left standing, then laughed a hollow laugh that wasn't laughter at all. There's a certain sound a person makes when their world starts to crumble beneath them. Max, this is ridiculous. You're upset. We don't need to take it this far. I leaned against the doorframe, arms folded, calm as night air. You believed her lies without asking me once. You threw me out like I was nothing. And now you expect me to apologize? Her tone rose, strained and desperate. She's my daughter. What was I supposed to do, ignore her? The words hit hard, but they made everything clear. Her daughter had always come first. I was never her equal, just convenient. I stepped closer, voice low and steady. You were supposed to be my wife. You were supposed to know me better than anyone. But instead, you chose her story over my truth. Something shifted in her eyes. Not fear of losing me, but fear of losing stability. The steady life, the home, the finances. The man who handled everything quietly behind the Max, don't do this. Let's talk. But I was done talking. My silence said everything. Right on cue, she appeared, arms crossed, eyes full of venom. Good, she sneered. He's finally leaving for good. Mom, let him go. He was always jealous of me anyway. This time, her words didn't hurt. They only fueled me. I saw the first cracks in their so-called alliance. Alina looked at her differently now, unsettled. The girl's smirk didn't fix it. You'll regret this, I said quietly, closing the door behind me. They didn't know I'd already started setting everything in motion. The latch clicked, their muffled argument echoing down the hall, sharp, tense, and to me, satisfying. For once, their perfect mother-daughter bond was faltering. Revenge isn't fire, it's ice, patient, spreading slowly, making everything fragile. Over the next few days, I executed every plan I had formed during sleepless nights. I met with my lawyer, an old friend who didn't need much convincing to make this clean and merciless. We reviewed everything: the house, the investments, the joint accounts. Half were under my name. Contributions she had long dismissed as helping. I had built as much of that life as she had, maybe more. Then came her business, the one I helped grow from a napkin idea to real profit, the one I funded in its early days. She believed it was hers alone, but I had proof: receipts, contracts, bank transfers, signatures. Legally, I wasn't just her husband. I was her silent partner. Silence was over. When she realized what was happening, she tried reaching me. Calls, messages, showing up unannounced. I ignored them all. Every unanswered ring reminded her she no longer had the right to my voice. Her daughter took to social media, posting cheap insults and bitter remarks. Each post screamed insecurity. Each jab confirmed what I already knew. Their war with me had begun, and they were unprepared. The courtroom war. When the official court summons arrived, it struck like a storm. My lawyer delivered every document, sharp, organized, and undeniable. Division of assets, proof of my financial role, claims to what was rightfully mine. I could almost picture Alina reading it, watching her sense of control crumble. In her mind, divorce was simple: throw me out, wait until I begged, and then forgive me when I was desperate enough. But I wasn't crawling. I was climbing, and they were the ones losing balance. 2 days later, I saw them outside the courthouse, her face a mix of anger and desperation. Max, please, you don't have to do this. Think about everything we built. I met her gaze. Exactly. We built it. Not you, not her, and I'm taking what's mine. Her daughter stood beside her, arms crossed, glare sharp. You're just greedy, she snapped. You never loved her. Only the money. I almost laughed. A marriage. She lunged forward, but Alina stopped her with a sharp whisper. Stop, you're making it worse. The word worse lingered, because it was true. Worse was just beginning. My lawyer filed everything flawlessly. Accounts frozen, assets under review, property legally bound. For the first time, Alina wasn't in control, and her daughter's outbursts no longer changed anything. But the real victory wasn't in the legal papers. It was in knowing I had walked away with dignity intact, my voice restored, and a future free from manipulation. It was watching their once perfect bond unravel under pressure. She blamed her daughter for lying. The daughter blamed her for weakness. The same alliance that once forced me out of my own home was now eating itself alive. And I wasn't finished. Because revenge isn't just reclaiming what's yours. It's ensuring they never forget the cost of betraying you. Court hearings began. With each session, I watched her composure fade. The confident woman who once told me to pack my things now sat hunched in a courtroom, struggling under questions she couldn't answer. My lawyer was relentless, breaking down her claims piece by piece. Every email, receipt, and signed contract proved my part in everything she built. Her confidence shrank with every document presented. And her daughter, always there, sitting in the back with arms folded and eyes burning into me, wanted me to look broken. But the longer she sat there, the more her bitterness showed. Even others in the room began to notice. The turning point came during cross-examination. Did you or did you not remove your husband from the marital home without discussion or proof of wrongdoing? My lawyer asked. She stammered, eyes darting toward her daughter for help. But the girl couldn't save her. For the first time, she stood alone, facing her own choices. I didn't smile or gloat. My silence was louder than anything I could say. Later that evening, outside the courthouse, her daughter approached me, voice sharp with anger. You think you've won? You're pathetic. My mom will never forgive you. I turned calmly and met her glare. She doesn't have to forgive me. One day, she'll realize who truly destroyed her marriage, and it wasn't me. For the first time, her confidence cracked, just slightly. I got into my car, the leather seat cool against my back, city lights blurring past the windshield. For the first time in weeks, I felt peace. Because revenge wasn't just happening in court. It was unfolding behind their closed doors, where their trust was crumbling from within. The cracks widened faster than I expected. Word reached me through mutual friends. The once perfect pair was falling apart. Alina had begun questioning everything her daughter said. Every excuse, every story, every late-night outing. Blind trust turned to suspicion, until one night she snapped. You ruined everything, she shouted. Her daughter screamed back, blaming everyone, me, the court, her mother. Their quiet war became public, and I stayed silent because I didn't need to interfere. They were destroying each other on their own. The second court hearing sealed it. The judge ruled in my favor. Half the assets, full acknowledgement of my role in the business. Alina's face went pale as the verdict echoed in the courtroom. Her daughter stormed out halfway through, slamming the door so hard the walls shook. And that's how betrayal met its balance, quietly, completely, and without a single word from me. That night, I received a short message from her. Max, please, we can fix this. Let's talk without the lawyers. I stared at the screen for a long time. Once I would have held on to those words. Now, they felt empty, almost insulting. I didn't reply. Instead, I prepared my final act of quiet closure. With my lawyer's help, I transferred my share of the business into a trust, one that funded scholarships for women who had been silenced or abandoned. Every dollar that left her hands became a tool for someone else's freedom. My pain was no longer wasted. It had purpose. When she found out, her anger was explosive. Friends told me she yelled at her daughter, blaming her for driving me to this point. The daughter screamed back, accusing her mother of ruining everything by marrying me. Their alliance fell apart completely. Nothing left but blame. As for me, I stood on the balcony of my new apartment, breathing in the cool night air. Free, calm, untouchable. I hadn't just left her. I had rewritten the ending. The final court hearing felt less like a battle and more like a farewell. Not to her life, but to her pride and control. The judge's decision was clear. I walked away with my rightful share of everything we built. But more importantly, I walked away free. She sat there, slouched, her daughter whispering furiously beside her, both looking lost. Even the girl couldn't hide the panic as their world collapsed, and neither of them knew how to rebuild it. When it ended, I didn't rush out. I gathered my papers, stood up, and walked past her. She lifted her eyes, searching for pity, forgiveness, maybe hope. I gave her none. Outside the courthouse, her daughter waited. The arrogance was gone, replaced with anger and fear. "You destroyed her," she hissed. I tilted my head, calm and steady. "No, she destroyed herself. You just helped." Her face tightened, but she didn't respond, because she knew. Deep down, she knew. Weeks later, I heard she sold the house, the one I had turned into a home, just to pay her legal fees. The business began to struggle without my quiet guidance. Eventually, the daughter moved out, leaving her alone in a small apartment, bitter and defeated. But I didn't watch out of spite. I watched from distance, with strength. Because revenge isn't about shouting louder than those who hurt you. It's about living so fully that their betrayal fades into your shadow. When I signed the last set of papers, the clerk slid them across the desk with a polite smile. "It's finalized," she said. I traced the signature, closed the folder, and whispered to myself, "It's done." As I stepped out of the courthouse and into the city, I didn't feel like an exile. I felt like a man who had finally returned to himself. In the weeks that followed, I built quiet routines, early morning runs by the river, coffee that didn't taste like compromise, rooms arranged exactly how I liked. Then, one morning, an email arrived from the first scholarship recipient, a woman I'd never met. "Your scholarship changed my life," she wrote, and I realized revenge had transformed into something softer, stronger. While they circled the ruins of what they had destroyed, I was planting new beginnings in places no one could burn. Later, a mutual friend told me, "She keeps asking why you're not responding." I simply smiled and let the question fade away like smoke. The past was a closed door, and I had no reason to knock. One night, I boxed the last remnants of that life, the ring, the keys, the photographs, and walked them to the river. "Thank you for the lesson," I whispered, letting them go. Then I turned toward the city lights, bright, alive, and full of possibility, knowing that real revenge was never about their suffering. It was about my freedom to live a better story than the one they tried to write for me.